Thank you, Oz. It was just incredibly beautiful for this beautiful setting. For the beauty of the earth, this spinning blue-green ball, yes. Gaia, mother of everything, we walk gently across your back to come together again in this place, to remember how we can live, to remember who we are, to create how we will be. Gaia, our home, the lap in which we live. Welcome us, no matter who we are, what we look like, or what our faith beliefs are. We are all welcome here. Good morning. It's wonderful to see all the people. At first it looked like it was going to be such a small crowd, and then everybody showed up. It's good. Welcome to South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. My name is Cate MacGillivray. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a short Caucasian woman with white hair and glasses and a pink shirt, and it's my privilege to serve as the worship associate for this morning's service. Our beloved Reverend Laura is enjoying her sabbatical and will be back with us later in the fall. We are excited to have Reverend Monica Dobbins from the First Unitarian Church with us as our guest speaker worship leader for this morning's service. We are also happy to welcome Murray Baptist Church and their folks who are joining with us this morning. Over there. Announcement, there will be supervision on the playground this morning provided by Tanu after the birthday blessing. Or, I think she's out there now, right? Or they're out there? But anyway, it will be a service after the blessing. And please remember that next Sunday, the 10th, we will be at SVU-US, okay? So don't come here, we'll be at the church. So let's take a moment now to fully arrive and welcome each other. And first, we would like to wave to our family at home, or on the computer, or on their phone, wherever they may be. So please feel free to get up and welcome each other. As we light our chalice, the symbol of our faith and the light of our commitments to love and justice, receive these words of invocation by Dag Hammarskjöld. Each morning, we must hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, and give back. Let us hold in our hearts the intense suffering of people around the world and in our own city. And now we have Leo, who will help us in saying our chalice words, and we have Max to light the chalice. So right here.
Let us light our chalice. Those at home are invited to light a chalice and share in this ritual by entering chalices lit at and the name of your street in the chat box on Zoom. Please join me in repeating our chalice lighting words and use our actions if you wish. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth,
and for the energy of action
and the flames of resistance.
Thank you so much. Oh, okay. So now we will have our birthday blessings for the people who are having birthdays in the month of August.
It's my turn to give you the birthday blessing. So as you begin your next turn around the sun, we bless you with our best wishes. May you have good health. May you have true love and faithful friendship. And may opportunities for growth and flourishing be yours all year long. May each of our children come back next year a little taller. May each of our adults come back a little wiser. And may at least one wish come true for you as you celebrate your birthday.
Well, that was exciting, and I'm very happy for everybody and their birthdays. So let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. And Isaac is going to come up and read our offertory words.
Please join me in reading our offertory words. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together, we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. We will now accept the offering. All are invited to use the giving link in the online order of part of our ministry of service, I guess. Part of our ministry at South Valley includes sharing our Sunday worship offerings with a charitable organization that aligns with our principles and values. Our partner for July and August is Encircle, an organization that brings families and communities together to support LGBTQ+ youth.
For all we have received and all we have found the courage to give, may we be truly thankful. May these gifts be a blessing to South Valley and to Encircle. Now I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer or meditation. Let us pray together first with silence, recognizing that the finest prayer has no words, but is simply a moment of connection with everything that is. let us pray by feeling the earth under our feet. Maybe if you're able to, place both feet on the ground. And draw strength from the soil, feeling the energy of the earth flowing up into you. Take a breath of this beautiful fresh air. Listen to the lovely sound of children playing. What a gift this day is. We become aware that we are not merely sitting or standing on the earth, we are actually sticking out into space. We are in the atmosphere that protects our earth. We are earthlings. Thank you, Mother Earth, for holding us. Thank you, rock siblings, for providing the materials of our bodies. Thank you, plant siblings, for expiring the air we breathe in and for accepting as your breath the air we breathe out. Thank you for doing this breathing dance with us. Thank you, animal siblings, for the parts that you play in the great web of life, the parts we can see, the parts we have no idea you are playing. Thank you, human siblings, those who came before, those who are here with us now, those who will come after. We are grateful today just to be part of this eternal flow of being. Thank you. Amen.
That was such a perfect meditation for our time here. Because nature is not a place to visit, it is home. I have a poem by Joy Harjo. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon, who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father, he is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are, red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them. Listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember the dance language is, that life is. Remember. I recently took a trip to the Oregon coast, and it more than filled my soul. I felt like I traveled through the Iron Curtain, from uncertainty, downright disgust, and a feeling of abandonment in this red state, to a place where I felt shared ideals and concerns and genuine care. What I'd like to read to you is not from the Oregon coast, but from Northern California, the Redwoods to be exact. So when I was in the Redwoods, just south of the Oregon coast, I picked up their visitor's guide. And I found this really great little article. Is it a national or a state park? Actually, it's a partnership between the two departments. And what they do is they have joined together to cooperatively manage adjacent lands, staffing, and visitor services. And together, they manage 130,000 acres of forested lands, including 45% of the world's remaining old-growth redwoods. They go on to say they're committed to working in partnership with the original stewards of the land, including the people of Yurok, Tolaway, and Cholula descent. Projects and programs are regularly planned, implemented, and reviewed with our tribal partners. Together, they manage these lands using the best of traditional ecological knowledge and science-based information to preserve what is intact and restore what has been lost. And lastly, they say, everything you see on your visit here is thanks to this partnership between large organizations and dedicated individuals. We hope you appreciate the efforts made by our predecessors to protect this unique landscape and perhaps find your own way to continue that legacy. Since that visit, I read this. The Blue Creek watershed is a critical area within the Klamath River Basin in Northern California, known for its cold water refuge for salmon and steelhead during their migrations. The Yurok tribe, with the help of Western Rivers Conservancy, recently completed a significant land acquisition, returning 47,000 acres of the watershed to tribal stewardship. This restoration effort aims to protect the health of the Klamath River ecosystem, particularly for salmon populations, and to foster tribal governance. This took many years of planning and fundraising to buy back their own land. And then I saw this yesterday that you may also be aware of, that 7 years ago, the Northwest Band of the Shoshone Nation bought 350 acres of its own ancestral land along the Bear River in southern Idaho. Their goal is to reconstruct the river to resemble what it looked like before the white settlers came, and their efforts continue today. I annotated a prayer for the people affected by the recent tsunami, if you are aware of that on the Oregon coast and elsewhere in the Pacific Rim. And this is from John Gonzalez of the Standing Bear Network. Mother Earth shifted in her bones, and her voice carried across the oceans. The sea that nourishes can also take back what it has given. He goes on to recall devastations from decades past and the lives lost. It's a reminder that we walk on the back of a living being, and she is powerful. He asks us to walk with humility, pray for the people finding refuge, hold them in our hearts, and seek balance between the land and water as calm returns. This beautiful, heartfelt message entered my heart on gentle feet. I would like to hear these sentiments from other political leaders. I follow a rewilding effort in Scotland in an area that was deforested in the time of the Vikings. The tall Caledonian pines were harvested for the longboats and never replanted, and the land was overgrazed. Success is due to extensive funding efforts and volunteers to bring back wildlife like the red-eared squirrel. If you've never seen, you should check out. It's just as cute as can be. And other flora and fauna. And just one last example of fighting back. The book our group just reviewed Monday night, The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich, demonstrates how in 1943 and 54, did I say that right? 1953 and 54, a poverty-stricken band of Chippewa Turtle Mountain Reservation actually defeated the U.S. government's attempt to strip them of their land rights and welfare. To me, these clips are an inspiration that we can do what we believe in. I think I'll clip this. It's blowy.
Friends, thank you so much for inviting me once again to speak to you. For those that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I'm the Reverend Monica Dobbins. I'm one of the ministers at First Unitarian Church, in downtown Salt Lake City. Welcome to Murray Baptist, folks. I've had the pleasure of preaching there a couple of times, and what I love about preaching at Murray Baptist is I get a little chance to get my Jesus on, right? I can let it out a little bit, so thank you for that, and I hope I'll get to see you again soon. From Cate talking about the woods in Northern California and the Oregon coast, now we're going to the woods of Massachusetts. So join me there as I read these words by our Unitarian ancestor, Ralph Waldo Emerson. My house stands in lowland with limited outlook and on the skirt of the village, but I go with my friend to the shore of our little river, and with one stroke of the paddle, I leave the village politics and personalities, yes, and the world of politics and personalities behind, and pass into a delicate realm of sunset and moonlight, too bright almost for spotted man to enter. We penetrate bodily this incredible beauty. We dip our hands into this painted element. Our eyes are bathed in these lights and forms. I am taught the poorness of our inventions, the ugliness of towns and palaces. Art and luxury have early learned that they must work as enhancement and sequel to this original beauty. I am over-instructed for my return. Henceforth, I shall be hard to please. These words are from Emerson's essay, Nature, one of the most famous American essays ever written. And when I read this passage, I can just see Emerson in a little canoe as it sinks down into the surface of Walden Pond at dusk. Emerson, with his sleeves rolled up over his elbows, his shirt unbuttoned at the collar, maybe his feet bare in the bottom of the boat. I've been there too, gliding along the mirrored surface of a lake, hearing only the sounds of the fish as they leap above the water, and the sound of my own oar dipping in to push me forward. Perhaps you also have had an experience like this in one of Utah's gorgeous canyons or mountain trails, fishing or wading in one of her streams, gazing out at the silent desert at twilight, or in some other beloved place you've been. You can have this kind of experience in ordinary life too, while cooking a meal with family, or pushing a child on the swing set, or gazing out a window at falling snow, or just sitting here in a park like this, maybe strolling in the grass or walking the dog. Ordinary, extraordinary beauty. It's the kind of experience that can't be duplicated by artificial intelligence or virtual reality. Unmediated realness, which was Emerson's most important goal. Emerson had been a Unitarian minister, but quit the ministry after the death of his first wife from tuberculosis. After that experience, the flights of fancy that flew from the pulpit in the churches of New England just seemed so empty. Emerson knew that he could experience God much more easily on the surface of a lake than he ever could in a church pew. He wanted no one and nothing to mediate his experience of the real. Now, these days, while ministers might well be accused of standing between the individual and the sacred, God forbid, our experiences are much more often mediated by our phones. How many of you are within hand's reach of your phone right now? How often do you see people walking down the street obliviously gazing at their phones? How often do you do that yourself? Yes, I'm guilty. How long does it take you to pick up your phone to look up the answer to any question, no matter how small, rather than wonder about it and talk to others? Google Maps mediates my experiences of getting places. I hardly trust myself to go anywhere without it. I found the pavilion today with Google Maps. Social media mediates my social life, as I can see where my friends are going, what they're reading and thinking about, such that I don't really have to call them to find out. Amazon mediates my shopping experience by making sure I see only styles and colors that I already know will work for me. Dating apps shop for friends and dates by only showing me people I'll probably like the first time I meet them. And it's not that this is better or worse or anything, it's just that perhaps we haven't stopped to consider what has been lost. Do I still know how to get lost? Do I still know how to risk rejection by trying to get a bunch of friends together? Do I still know how to discover what works for me by trying a bunch of things that don't work? Do I still know how to have a conversation with someone with whom I share little in common? The author Christine Rosen, in her book, The Extinction of Experience, writes, "Technology interposes itself between us and the world. It translates reality for us, but also to its designers' ends and extraordinary profit. Algorithms curate ideal experiences for us, thus stripping away any discomfort from life. They call this removing friction from the user experience. But Rosen asks, what do we gain and what do we lose when we no longer talk about the human condition, but the user experience? We think that we are choosing things, but are we really? When the choices are infinite, yet we are only shown what the algorithm predicts we will like. We very quickly and easily forget what it is like to live in a world where everyone has the same limited set of choices, a situation in which everyone in society has more or less a shared reality. In fact, what we think is reality may now not even be real at all. We think we know what is real, but do we really? A few weeks ago, I had an interesting experience with my teenage son, who decided to dip into right-wing YouTube just to see what was there. And we were not surprised to see a lot of conspiracy theories and end times prophecies and lots of ads for nutritional supplements. But we were surprised to see that almost every video contained or was wholly composed of deepfakes. That is, hyper-realistic videos made by artificial intelligence that can almost be impossible to distinguish from the real thing. Some of us are now living in a media environment in which fakes are more common than real life. And that environment is also personally tailored to their tastes, so that the more AI fakes they watch, the more they will be offered. Now, we know that this is dangerous for democracy, but it is not limited to those on the right. I'm seeing many of my friends, mostly on the left politically, sharing AI-generated memes on social media without seeming to know the dangers of putting those images forth as if they were real. But this desensitizes people and erodes our capacity to know what is real or to care what is real. And if we don't care what is real, then we become vulnerable to propaganda. Perhaps it's useless to imagine Emerson coming forward into our time to see a world full of people glued to devices full of images of fake things that never really happened. I reckon he would just turn right back around and go back to the 19th century. So we will have to give thanks that he never lived to see this, and then draw from him the principles that help us navigate this reality in ways that are faithful to our values. Emerson pointed toward the beauty of nature and contrasted it with the poorness of our inventions, right? The ugliness of towns and palaces. But I take a little issue with the way he divides nature from human invention. After all, as Cate said earlier, we are not actually separate from nature. We are animals. We are nature. And so logically, everything that we create is natural, right? Where I think that Emerson would argue for a binary approach where all technology encroaches on the goodness and purity of the natural world, the truth is that everything in our built environment is made and can only be made of materials that we find here on Earth. So rather than trying to build a bridge between technology and nature, I suggest that we consider what parts of both are good, true, and beautiful. Can our built goods be made from sustainable materials? Can our towns and palaces more effortlessly interact with nature? Can we see ourselves as natural beings who need an unmitigated experience of nature in order to be healthy and whole? These questions bring us close to a core challenge of our time, remaining human in a world that dehumanizes. Or to put it another way, living out the principles of a new kind of humanism, a humanism that prioritizes what it means to be human. We are on the horizon of an age in which some would seek to enhance the brain with neural networks, to extend life through extraordinary medical interventions, or even try to eliminate aging and dying completely. It's not hard to imagine that people would seek to use technology to eliminate human suffering. But it's also, unfortunately, not hard to imagine the wealthiest humans putting their resources to bear on that problem to the exclusion of the rest of humanity. Wouldn't it also cut us off from some of the beautiful things about being human? Our capacity to be present, to feel deeply, to love and be loved because of our vulnerability, not in spite of it. I don't know the answers to all those questions, but I do know that one way we protect our humanity in the face of these threats is to be like Emerson and devote ourselves to the sensory world, cultivate our intimacy with the real world around us, even if it isn't exactly what we would choose for ourselves, even if its products aren't perfect. Make things yourself and look for things that are made by hand. Choose from arrays of imperfect choices. Feel all the feelings, the uncomfortable ones, the difficult ones, the tender ones. In short, to search out unmediated experiences as often as we can, to live the life we have, the real life we have, to prefer what is real and true and beautiful, and bring others along in our canoes, glide out into the quiet water of the world that is still waiting for us, the world that has always been waiting for us.
Thank you. And a disclaimer, if you haven't already figured this out, our theme this month is about the land, about the earth, and the presence that it has for us. So we will extinguish our chalice now. Let's use our extinguishing words. We extinguish the chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. And we hold each other in our hearts until we meet again.
Thanks once again, friends, for being here today. As we go forth from this place, may we maintain our awareness of the land and the living things around us, the presence of the sacred in every atom, our own eternal being as material parts of this mighty sacred dance. Go in peace.